Welcome to Fun with Science, Engineering, and Technology. My name is Mr. Ross, and today we're on location at the Lawrence Municipal Airport. And our host today is Jim Hoffman from Falcon Air, and he's going to show us a little bit more about some airplanes. Of course, if you remember, we did some stuff in the studio using models. Today we're going to get the real story about a real airplane. Jim?
Good morning. Good morning, boys and girls. I hope that today we can teach you something about an airplane. I've worked in this aviation field for 40 years. Enjoy it. It's a good life.
Right. These are the guys that maintain the aircraft, so they really know how they work. They don't just drive them, they fix them when they break, right? So they've got a handle on how they work and what they do, and so I'm sure we're going to learn a lot today.
This is the front. This is the propeller. This is what makes the airplane go. You'll notice that the blades have a pitch on them. When they turn, it pushes the air backwards. The engine is inside here. It's a little four-cylinder engine. Develops about 150 horsepower on this model. They run all the way up to possibly 600 horsepower. The RPM is controlled by a throttle, has a carburetor. Let's go over here. The wings are here. They develop the airflow. The wings are curved on the top, flat on the bottom. And the theory is that the air rushes faster over the top than it does on the bottom. There creates a low pressure, which creates the lift for the airplane. This is the ailerons. There's one on each side. When this is down like this, the wing is going to go up and you're going to make a right turn. When this goes up like this, the wing's going to come down, you're going to make a left turn. And you'll notice on the other side, they're the opposite. One goes down, one goes up. All right? This is your flap. When you're doing a takeoff, your flaps won't actually be down all this way, but they will be down. What it does, it gives you more lift at a lower speed. Tail surfaces. Elevator. Up in this position, airplane will climb, push it down, airplane will go down. I'll show you the controls inside in just a minute. The rudder. Use this to coordinate with the ailerons. Want to hold left turn, right turn.
This is a Cessna 150, and there's a serial number.
Who's going to sit inside? I need 2 people to volunteer. All right, go around the other side.
For a long flight, the seats aren't too comfortable. And as far as that, if you look just below that is where that sump drain is there, the drain to check for water in that. Prior to every flight, you have to check for water. You don't want it to freeze up there. And if you scan over there by the pilot side there on this on the wall there, see the documentation there? It's his registration form, the radio station license. And every aircraft is supposed to have AARO, the airworthiness certificate, radio station license, the registration and operations manual, and weight and balance data. It's got to be somewhere in the airplane.
I'm going to give you first flying lesson. You see the black paddle knob there?
This?
Push it up.
I'm gonna fly.
No, you're not going to fly. You just think you are. Take the controls, put your hand on the controls. Now, if you pull back, all right, and you look behind you, you'll see the elevators go up. Okay? All right? So you would be climbing. If you push it forward, you'll see them go down. All right? Now you pull it back about halfway. There you go, right about there. Now turn it to the right. Now watch the ailerons. Watch this side. See how this side goes down?
Yep.
Okay, so now you're doing a right turn on the airplane. All right, now you go back the other way. And you see it do the opposite. Now you're doing a left turn. Okay? All right, put it back in neutral. This is your direction, all right, that you're flying. This is your airspeed indicator, here. This is the attitude of the airplane. This is actually a model little airplane because there's no electrical power on. It's not up and running right now. This is what they call a vertical speed, VSI, vertical speed indicator. This goes up and down in relation to how fast you're climbing or how fast you're diving. Altimeter. This goes up 100 feet, 2, 3. It's like a clock. Large hand is 100, small hand is 1,000. Turning bank. Oh. RPM gauge. Radio set here. There's what else we forget? Throttle. Fuel control. This is what actually shuts the airplane off. All right. Trim for your tail, up and down. Seats adjustable. Windows.
What are these switches for?
Those switches are for the lights. External lights, exterior lights, dome light. You look, that's behind you on the overhead. PDOT heat, which is, if you don't have this on and the ice is up, you get a bad indication of airspeed. Nav lights, which are the wingtip lights, all right? Taxi lights, which are the one in the front on the nose cowl. Beacon light, top of the tail.
What are these knobs for in here?
Those are fuses. Those are circuit fuses for it. In case you have an overload, an electrical overload, then you will have the fuse will blow. The light will go out. It doesn't work. So you pull those out and change them. They're just, that's what they look like, all right? Just a little fuse, removable fuses. Newer model airplanes have what they call circuit breakers. They just pop, and then you can push them back in. This is an older airplane. This is older than most of you kids.
What are those knobs for?
Okay, that's a radio. That sets the frequency. If you turn it, you'll see the frequency change, okay? This is ground control frequency here at Lawrence Airport, 124.3. This is frequency for flight out of Bedford, I believe. All these knobs just change it, frequencies, okay? On, off. Compass, directional compass, so you know which way you're headed in the upper head. All right, the little temperature gauge over here on this side, it'll give you outside air temperature. This is only a little two-seat airplane. As you notice, there's no back seat in it. They have, this is mostly for training. Flight training is what a lot of flight schools use. In fact, I think this is where this one came from, is from a flight school. Any questions? Rudder pedals. Important things. Also, the brakes are on that, all right? The brakes are up top. It's what they call toe brakes. You push them forward, and it'll put the brakes on. But you push on the pedals, that also controls the rudder, all right? You can see it turn. See it?
Yeah.
This is your flap. See the flaps go down? And here's your indicator. It tells you how many degrees of flaps you got in it. This goes up, and it automatically shuts off when it reaches a point.
For getting some fresh air inside the cabin. We have a heater in here and everything else too. So you want some fresh air as we're flying along, you open it up. If it's a little bit too much, you bring it that way, then you turn the heater on.
This is your speed. This flame, you'll notice it's in the green, and it starts to get yellow at 120 miles an hour. That's about as fast as you really want to go in this airplane. Yeah, it's not a fast airplane. It'll probably cruise around 100, you know. 100 seems fast, but when you got some out here that are doing 210, 250 miles an hour on a cruise, it's not really fast.
What happens if you go too fast?
If you go too fast, it'd probably tear the airplane apart. They have what they call a VNE, which is a velocity never to exceed, all right? At that point, the manufacturer feels that the airplane will come apart in the air, all right? So you never want to exceed that speed. It's basically used for learning to fly in. It's what a lot of flight schools use to teach pilots. You know, it's an economical airplane to fly, very easy to maintain. There's not a lot of super hard systems in it. Makes it real nice for a beginner. Vertical speed indicator, up and down. The number of, when you climb, you get a indication of climbing, and it'll show up on here to tell you how many feet per minute you are actually climbing, or what your climb rate is. Altimeter, how many feet above the ground. This is set right now. Lawrence Airport, turning bank, also a compass.
Yes, how long can you fly with one tank?
You can fly approximately, on one fuel load, you'd probably get about 4.5 hours flight time out of it. 400 to anywhere between 450 to 600 mile range. Here to Maine, back here to Pennsylvania on one tank of fuel. Actually, it's two tanks, just one fuel load. There's one tank in each wing, and they both feed. Fuel selector. Right here on the floor. All right, left tank, right tank, and off. Okay. That control, you actually feed from the tanks, and believe it or not, the fuel line comes out of the tank and runs right down this post here.
Okay, you see that that yellow item there with the large antenna sticking up towards the top of the fuselage? All right, that's an ELT, emergency locator transmitter. And if the airplane goes down somewhere, it will send out a beacon sound so the rescue crew, search crew can zero in on it. It can go either automatically or you can put it on. And they do have, once in a while, they put them back there because they put them too close to the front there. People hit them accidentally and set off the warning sound, and that does get everybody's attention. This is your brake? This is your brake right here. That stops you right there. When you put the brakes on, this is your brake drum right here, your disc. These are your brake pads right in there. There's two of them. These are the hydraulic line. Runs up there. This is to keep the nose wheel from shimmying on you when you're taxiing. After you land, you don't want it shaking too much, so this is a shimmy dampener.
Is that like a hydraulic type of?
Right, it's hydraulic. It keeps the nose wheel, helps to keep it centered. You don't want it shaking too much as you're going down the runway.
And on this plane, the wheels don't go up.
No, this is a fixed gear. Well, that white and brown one over there, that gear does retract, but everything else is usually fixed.
Any benefits or?
Speed, faster. Now, if we put those wheel pans, like you see on this one here and that one over there, if we put the wheel pans on this, well, what does the wheel pans do? Increase the speed by about 10 knots?
5 to 10 knots.
We can go faster. People take care of their airplanes. You see the red streamers on the front of this one here. Has to keep the birds and bugs out from the front of the engine. What's to keep a bird from coming in here and building a little nest? All this little covering, so you put a block in here to keep it.
What's this thing for?
It's part of the instrumentation for the aircraft is to take this off before you fly. And we get ram air comes in here. And right in back of you is a static vent. And that keeps your instrumentation, helps your instrumentation to know where you are, how fast you are, and
Now you see the engine's not very big. Probably if you took it out, a good strong guy could lift this out by himself. But it weighs about 500 pounds with everything on it. Starter, these run off of what they call magnetos. There's two of them. You notice each cylinder has two plugs, all right? One magneto controls the upper plugs on one side and the lower plugs on the other side. The other magneto is the opposite. This is for safety purposes, redundancy, what the FAA calls redundancy.
What's a magneto?
What's a magneto? Good question. I don't know. A magneto generates spark. It's like a distributor in a car, except it's not electrically powered like a distributor has to be. It has its own internal function components that generate the spark out of it, which actually fires the spark plugs. Starter, self-starter, so you don't have to hand prop them anymore. There are a couple of airplanes here on the field that you still have to hand prop. They don't have self-starters. Hand prop. Hand prop is when you have to grab hold of prop in that position like that and spin it with your hands, and hopefully you get back out of the way before it hits you. You know, it's how you start the airplane. You know, if you put your hands on the prop and you pull it down, all right, the prop will spin, and sometimes it will actually start. You can't start an airplane like that. Back of the blade is painted black so that propeller spinning in the air is not reflecting the light from the sun back into the pilot's eyes. If you'll notice, a lot of them, all the props out here have black on the back side of the blade is painted black, while the front might be painted silver. This one's all black. The propeller is what they call a fixed pitch. It doesn't change pitches. The one that you just saw taxiing out has a propeller that the pitch on the blades changes according to whatever he selects on the controls. What is that? That is the name of the engine. That is the manufacturer of the engine. Underneath here is actually your valves for your engines, right? It's just like like a regular car engine, except it's all air exposed, it's air cooled, right? But that's where Continental put their brand on the engine. That's how they brand the name. You'll see Lycoming out here. You see Continental. Mostly you see a lot more Continentals than you do Lycomings for some reason. Any other questions?
How much does a plane weigh?
This plane probably weighs about 2,500 pounds. The twin is sitting over in front of the hangar. He probably goes around 50 to 7,500 pounds.
Where do you check the oil?
Oil is right here underneath the yellow cap. If you twist that and pull it out, you'll see it stick. Oil's here. Batteries under the black box. They're not very big batteries either.
The same kind of oil that's in the car?
No, it's not. It's a oil specifically developed for aviation rather than for automotive. You can't interchange them.
What kind of gas you put in it?
They put in what they call aviation gas. 100 low lead. Some of the airplanes have been converted and have what they call a STC, which is a FAA term, allows them to specifically change something on the airplane legally. Some of them have what you can use regular burn automotive gas in them instead of avgas. Avgas has an ingredient in it that doesn't allow it to evaporate so easy at high altitudes, whereas automotive gas would evaporate far more readily than the other.
How much does it cost per gallon?
Right now, the cost of fuel, aviation fuel, is up around $2.50 a gallon. You know, it's not a cheap hobby. It's an expensive hobby. You have the cost of the airplane, you have the insurance, you have the fuel, and then you have the maintenance on it.
How many gallons does this plane hold?
This airplane probably holds 40 gallons. I think it's 40 gallons, 20 gallons each side. All right, it's a 40-gallon tank. You have to be 16. You have to be 16. You can fly before you're 16. You can fly. You can start flying as soon as you want to. But you cannot get a private pilot's license until you turn 16. But you can take all your flight tests and all your flight schools and everything else before your age of 16. You just cannot be legally licensed to fly the airplane by yourself until you turn 16.
How many hours do you have to practice before you get your license?
You have to have 40 hours before you can get your private pilot's license. You can fly solo probably after 6 to 10 hours. Most students would solo after 6 to 10 hours. And then you have to have 20 hours. It's like 20 hours single time and 20 hours dual time. The 20 hours dual time being with the instructor on there. Cross country, probably 250-mile cross country. You go to 3 different airports, and you have to be signed in. Now they have what they call ultralights. ultralights, anybody can fly them. You don't have to be a licensed pilot to fly an ultralight, which seems kind of strange because they are aircraft. And I don't know what the reasoning, the FAA's reasoning behind it is. But they just consider it, I guess, too light to be an airplane.
How long have you been working with airplanes?
I started working in aviation in 1963, 40 years ago. I worked for General Dynamics in Fort Worth, Texas for a while. I came up here and went to East Coast Aerotech in Hanscom Field. I went to work for Eastern Airlines. I worked for them for 21 years. I went to work for US Air. I worked there for 14 years, and now I work for JetBlue out of Boston. Plus I do this part-time. Being a pilot is probably the best job that you could have. You know, there's good pay involved, good benefits involved. Plus you get to see all these different towns on 4-hour stops, turnarounds, and you know. But being a pilot's good. A job in the airline industry is a good job. It's not a bad job. It's real good. It's been a good living.
What types of classes would you recommend for people who want to fly?
If you want to be a pilot for the airlines, most of them require a degree. And it's not specific on a degree, but a degree probably related to the aviation industry. Embry-Riddle is one school that comes to mind out of Florida that has a school dealing with aviation. There are schools down there where you can actually go down and learn to fly, get your commercial license while you're going to college, get your degree, commercial license, and some of them will actually place you with a regional jet carrier.
On behalf of Channel 10, we'd like to thank Jim and Bob for giving us this wonderful tour of the Lawrence Airport.
Very good.
Thank you.
You're welcome.